The United States is the only country in the world that taxes its citizens based on their citizenship, in addition to substantial presence or residence in the United States. So if you're a U.S. citizen, you're subject to tax on your worldwide income wherever you live. Being subject to tax is not the same as having to pay tax. And that's going to be an important distinction we're going to go through today. Tax is levied under the Internal Revenue Code even if no income is from sources within the United States. So the fact that Greece may tax a certain kind of income one way, irrelevant. How the U.S. will characterize and tax that income is all that's relevant in your case. All right, who is a U.S. citizen? Well, according to the 14th Amendment to the United States Constitution passed in the 1860s, anyone born within the United States is a U.S. citizen by birth. And that is as simple as it gets. If your mother was there on vacation and you were born there, you are a U.S. citizen. If, like many millions of undocumented aliens in the United States, your parents snuck across the Mexican border and gave birth to you, you are a U.S. citizen. So, in simple form, if you were born in the United States, you are automatically a U.S. citizen. You don't have to have a U.S. passport. You don't have to have a U.S. Social Security number. You don't have to have done anything ever in your entire life to have exercised a single U.S. citizen right. You are a citizen. And of course, in your Greek passport, it's going to say born in Texas or someplace else in the United States. And so you're instantly identifiable to your banks as a U.S. citizen. Anyone born to U.S. citizens outside the United States is a citizen of the United States by birth. Anyone born to a U.S. citizen parent, the other parent might be a non-U.S. citizen, who registers that child's birth at a U.S. consulate abroad is a U.S. citizen at birth. And the obvious person is anyone obviously naturalized in the United States. U.S. Citizenship taxation has existed since the very first Temporary Income Tax Act was passed during the United States Civil War. And in fact, in that first statute, citizens who lived outside the United States were taxed at a rate twice that citizens living in the United States. That was actually designed to prevent people from running off to England to escape tax during the Civil War. When Congress, after the passage of the 16th Amendment in 1910 or 11, enacted the first Income Tax Act in 1913, that is 102 years ago, it simply carried forward the concept of citizenship taxation. So if anybody tries to tell you this is a new thing, it's not. And the second thing is that since the United States first began negotiating tax treaties with other countries, it has had in its code citizenship taxation, thus the carve-out provision that exists in all of the treaties.